Hi guys, how you doing today? This is D. Durrell with D. Durrell Life Solutions. I hope you like the new green ambiance. I'm just trying out a few things, colors, just testing things out to see how they go. But today, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk about domestic violence again. And I'm going to touch on a few things in regards to domestic violence. And I'm going to discuss domestic violence as it relates to black men being battered. Now, when one thinks about domestic violence, or we talk about abuse per se, we usually think of it in a position in which a woman is pretty much suffering or being victimized by men. And in most cases, the overwhelming majority of those cases is usually a man imposing his will on women. There's no denying that. But I also think that, particularly as I'm going through my training to be certified as a certified BIP facilitator, focusing on domestic violence and so forth, going through this curriculum, going through the trainings and so forth. I think that we must not, and I think that it is advantageous of us. It is an advantage for us to notice that there are black men who are also suffering in many ways. Now, will I say that those numbers are the same number as black women? No. Over 40% of black women basically suffer from domestic violence, which is very high. At least 41%, according to many studies that I've read, pretty much express and illustrate that black women throughout their lifetime, at least 41% of black women, which is nearly half. And to me, that is at a crisis level. When you look at it from the male's perspective, it's pretty much about 10%, which is overwhelmingly less, but that doesn't mean that we should be ignoring that 10%. Now, you can check out many statistics. I use statistics from the Duluth model. I use statistics from various domestic violence organizations, the National Organization of Domestic Violence, the NAAVD. You can use tons of different places. You can see similar research. Type in domestic violence. You'll get a plethora of information if you want to research it and check out things for yourself. In the black community, just for many men, particularly black men, because of the overwhelming attack on our masculinity, the overwhelming attack on us and our humanity, being a man and so forth, many black men feel it is somewhat effeminate to contact the police and state that someone is physically hurting us, or abusing us. Even most men produce situations in which they shame men for allowing themselves to be put in that position. Many men, most men that are in that situation, don't hit back because they're afraid of, number one, they understand the consequences of a black man hitting a woman will be more detrimental, and you would be more at fault, regardless of if it's self-esteem or not, and you're most likely to be prosecuted. Also, you have to look at the fact that a lot of men who are being abused are afraid of hurting a female and lashing out. Another reason is the fact that all men, when it comes to the interaction with women, we are taught to allow, if a woman was to hit us, we're not supposed to hit back. I know for a fact that that's the way I was taught. I was taught that if a female hit you, you're not to hit her back. You are to maybe restrain her or stop or defend yourself in the midst of not allowing her to hit you. But for you to strike her back, even if she's striking at you, that is a no-no. I also teach my son the same thing. I teach my son to respect women, not to hit women, even if they are showing violence, not to hit them back, but to protect yourself from being hurt. But I think that it is undeniable that in many situations there are most men that don't know how to handle themselves in that situation, and they are being physically, psychologically, and verbally abused. And many men, particularly if they're in relationships that they have enjoyed, particularly if they're married or been in long-term relationships that they don't want to get out of, they will allow a female to treat them in this manner. A lot of domestic violence, no matter what sex, is rooted in low self-esteem. There's a large amount of black men who have low self-esteem, who think that the partner that they have is the best that it will ever be, and because of that, that partner has the right to treat them whatever way they want because they don't have the ability to seek someone equal or better. And in many cases, although the training that I'm going through now focuses a lot more weighted on women and women going through this, there's more women who are more willing to report. If we want more funding to help black men as far as creating more agencies and so forth, men, period, the way that we're going to bring more attention is that black men or men in general need to report the violence towards them more often. And until they do that, you're not going to see as much resources go towards helping men with these issues. So, this is D. Durrell with D. Durrell Life Solutions. I hope you enjoyed my topic today, focusing on black men dealing with domestic violence.